However, it's going to be a big deal. So that's what we're working on doing for people. We're structuring products, creating solutions in the market to be able to facilitate that. And, we're trying to do that before price appreciation happens so that everybody has those things in place when that occurs. And if you've taken the time and you've, put in the effort and you have the financial education and the network and the business resources, you're going to be successful. You're going to do very well. You're going to be able to pass this on for generations. But most people are going to buy a bunch of liabilities. They're going to sell it off. They're going to have huge tax implications. And they're going to be stuck in a spot where, 3 to 5 years from now, they have all these costs that mount up every single month, and they don't have the cash flow or the investments to be able to supplement their lifestyle and cover those. So you need to understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and you need to understand how to grow your wealth and preserve your wealth. It's always wealth preservation, return of capital, keeping up with inflation, and then return on your investments. And that slowly compounds over time. You're looking over decades. You're not looking over the next 2 months or 3 months like most people are in crypto on how they're going to get rich quick. Not to say things could happen in the next 2 or 3 months, because I think that's possible. But all that being stated, the paradigm that most people have around this asset class and how they structure their investments is going to have to change substantially on the other side of price appreciation. Wondercast, thank you for the super chat. Same thing for Rondad. Not sure how to say the rest of that. This gentleman says, "Hey, Mega Legend, appreciate you, dude. Swift said it would start tokenizing in June. Does the carry trade have to happen before June 1st for Swift to start tokenizing?" I think so. I think that's the only catalyst that's really going to drive XRP to the valuation that needs to be prior to that occurring. So, again, complete speculation. Could it drag out longer than that? Sure, but things seem to be, catalyzing here for something imminent in the not-too-distant future, potentially prior to June 1st. Wondercrest, again, they say, how does the velocity affect the price? Could velocity be an issue for higher price when price appreciation happens? Thanks for what you do. Again, a lot of people have asked this question in a lot of different ways, but I will entertain it. So how many times can XRP be used in the same day? Or could you be asking about TPS? I'm not sure which one. I will address both. So transactions per second, currently the XRPL can scale to 1,500 TPS, which is not enough to cover MasterCard and Visa, which require about 30,000 TPS. In order to be able to facilitate that, you need an implicit or explicit subnet on top of the XRPL or built into the XRPL, which is a patent that's been filed by Bob Way and given to Ripple. So that exists. They have payment channels. They deprecated batch payments, so that's not going to be a thing, but they have payment channels and the implicit or explicit subnet that Bob has created, and that should be able to facilitate high enough TPS for them to be able to get the adoption at scale. Now, how many times can XRP be used in a single day? I don't know the answer to that. I didn't create it. I don't know the constraints by the banks. I don't know the other circumstances in which all this stuff operates. All I know is that Robbie Mitchnick, who works for BlackRock as their head of digital assets, created a calculator that shows XRP can be used up to 10 times in a single day. So I'm going to go with Robbie. He worked at Ripple. He now works for BlackRock. Probably smarter than me. I haven't had a chance to ask him why 10 was the upper limit on that. Probably less than that, based on that being the upper limit. So you'd reduce 1-0 for whatever you think it needs to get to provide liquidity if it could be used 10 times per day. And again, there's going to be a finite amount that exists out there for settlement as it continues to get locked up for derivatives and collateral in other ecosystems. So the more XRP that's locked up and held for other reasons, the less is on the market to settle things, the faster it needs to move, the higher the price needs to be able to settle that and provide enough liquidity for those things. So, again, you can go find that calculator. I'm sure that you could probably Google it and figure it out.